Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. Week 1, or is it week 2? We did have the intro before. Either way, this is the first proper show we're going to talk about management and leadership. And what is the first topic we should talk about? Well, let's start at the beginning. The difference between managers and leaders. Because there's lots and lots of material out there, lots and lots of people discussing the differences between managers and leaders. Now, you could be in the camp of a manager does very much task-based things. So they come and they do this, 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 and this. You could be on the other side of it, that leaders are the inspirations and the ones who do the tactics and strategies and the longer term thinking. Now, I'm not going to be on the fence with much things when I do these shows. But to be fair, I'm on the fence with this one. Because there is a middle ground. You know, people don't just turn up to work and go, right, I am a shift manager, therefore I shall just do task-based management things. And the leaders don't turn up and just go, I'm just going to do strategy and blue sky thinking. It's not how it works, is it, in real life? Managers are leaders and leaders are managers. There's definitely a crossover grey area. So what are the big things, if you've clicked on this cast, that you want to learn about being a manager? So if you're a manager, you're going to be having things that you're going to have to do day in, day out. There's going to be some repetitive work that needs to happen. Either checking something that's going on, reporting something that's happened, making sure that if there's a problem, it's fixed and rectified and hopefully fixed as forever. Those are the things you're going to be doing when you get there. But of course, in that management role, you're going to have people. If you've got management in your title and you don't have any people that you're managing, then you're not really doing a management job. The idea of being a manager is to lead with people and get them to do the things. We are very much confused sometimes with the way we put managers in titles of jobs when realistically they don't do a lot of managing. But the hardest part of the managing world is obviously the people that are in it. Because people, thankfully, are not just following a program. They don't just come and do a list of tasks. They have many, many things that happen to them and around them, which means they have different pressures are put upon them in the day. And obviously, externally to that, there's a lot of pressures on them. So as a good manager, you need to firstly know your people. Because the people are going to be the ones that make things happen. If you're a manager, you're not normally going to be doing. You're definitely going to be helping, you're going to be involved in, you're going to be doing things, but you're not going to be the doer because you're a manager now. So what does that really mean then? Then means that you need to get people working with you and on board with you. Now you can use your positional power to do that. And that's what a lot of people do. When they get promoted, they decide that because it says on the title that they're this manager now, or this leader, if you use team leaders usually are team managers, to be fair, you'll see that there's a lot of that going on where people will be saying that, you know, I'm just going to use my positional power. So one day their colleagues and they're in the canteen together. Next minute, this person's got promotion and they're the manager and they're going to use positional power. That's, in my mind, is one way of doing it. It's a level of leading, but it's not the best sustainable level of leading. Because obviously, if you're just using positional power, it means that you have to put a lot more effort into it. Because the people around you are just going to be thinking, well, he's just going to tell me what to do. I'll just turn up and do what I'm told to do, which doesn't really help you in the long run. So you've got to start to go to that second level of leadership and third level leadership, where you're starting to understand your people, know what makes them tick, and really get into how they feel at work and how they want to proceed at work. And of course, to do that, you need a good one-to-one structure, which we'll go on to in episodes to follow. So as a manager, the first thing you need to do is know your people around them. And then you can gauge the skills of those people and the strengths of those people when it comes to getting the work done. Because obviously as a manager, you're expected to deliver results. And that's realistically what you need to be thinking about. What results do I need to deliver by when? And how do I get the people around me to deliver it in the most effective way they can? So that's that management part of it. And what about the leaders that are tuned in? Well, leadership, obviously, depending on where you are in the business, has that element of higher, strategical, looking ahead. There's lots of really good work on the fact that if you get too far down and get too bogged down into the detail, then you can miss the things that are above you. So instead of looking down and in as a leader, you have to look up and out. So how do you do that? Now, there's lots of tools out there you'll have heard of. You've got your SWOT analysis, you've got your pestles. All those tools are very useful. But realistically, it's knowing what the aim of the company is. What do you really need to deliver in that business? And then as a leader, you can make sure that that message is transmitted through the hierarchy to the right people to deliver the results they need to do. And what does that look like in realness, in real terms? Well, when you come to work day in, day out, you need to be knowing what is the mission, what is the vision, where are we going to be as a leader, how do I then support my team in getting there? Because that is the big thing you need to be looking at. What do I do as a leader to support the people doing? Because when you get to a leadership position, especially higher up, you're going to be doing a lot less doing. Now, there may be times where there's an urgent problem that you need to get involved in. And if you've come through the ranks or you've got a background in problem solving, obviously helping others out and making sure that they are getting the jobs done and getting the fixes done is important. But you don't want to spend too much time there, because as a leader, you need to be giving your managers space to grow, the tools to make it work. I've always said you're clearing the field. You're making sure in front of the managers and in front of your directs and in front of the people doing the work is a clear path. They don't want the clutter and the confusion. So as a leader, you're making sure you're doing as much as you can to clear that path. And that can be bureaucracy. That can be making sure finances are right to supply. You might be working on capital for future, but again, longer term. So managers and leaders have definitely got a big part to play in all our businesses that we do. And every business that we work in will have those kind of roles to be done. Different levels will have different responsibilities, and different parts of the business will expect different things to get done at different times. But the overall is to make sure that you're delivering results, you're pushing the business forward, and you're making sure that you are keeping yourself and others safe and in business. So that is episode 1, the difference between managers and leaders. Episode 2, we're going to go and dive into my big 5 of management, and then we'll go into the big 5 of leadership. Again, always, as ever, feedback is a gift. So please send your feedback to managermattpodcast@gmail.com. Love to engage in new and old topics, or give us any feedback on what you think the show can improve. Right, well, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.